Hey there, so before we begin this video, a lot of you told me on Twitter that you guys actually didn't really get a notification for my latest core video that I uploaded last month, so in case you actually did miss it, here it is. You can check out the link up on the card or top or whatever. It's about this little Famicom controller called the Hypershot with only 2 buttons. I had a cool time learning a lot about it and the games it supported. And in case you don't want to miss any more videos, including this one, it's all the more reason to click that little bell. I mean, you don't have to, but you know, better be safe than sorry, right? Alright, roll it. Welcome back to another episode of Things of Interest. And judging by your replies to my suggestion to cover this on Twitter, this is a pretty darn interesting thing, alright. This is the Pro Pack Mini, which itself proclaims as a wireless motion sensing controller and nunchuck controller. To be honest, I saw a ton of knockoff Wii Remote accessories on sale during the Wii's heyday, but I've hardly come across a knockoff of the actual controller until now. And yeah, the colors on this thing certainly stand out, and people said the Wii U gamepad looked like a Fisher-Price toy. This interesting design comes to us from Blaze Pro, a company situated in where else but China. There's a Chinese website link on the back of the package, but it seems to be dead and just redirects to a Chinese lottery website now. Anyway, this is what it is, a cheap Wii Remote and nunchuck alternative with a smaller form factor. Well, cheap is definitely a fitting term. I picked this up for a grand total of about $13 US. So that's a decent price for something that's supposed to replicate all the features of a Wii Remote. It even claims to have Wii Motion Plus built in like the newer Wii Remotes. So we'll definitely be giving that a test drive later. On the back of the box is an exciting list of features. Mini Remote, 35% smaller than the original Wii Remote. Contoured surfaces with soft touch no slip grip. Glowing main control buttons. Available in purple and black. Wait, hold on. I demand a refund. Okay, I looked it up and turns out there is indeed a Pro Pack Mini controller with purple and black colors. But that one was made by PowerA instead. In fact, this entire description appears to match that product more than what I even have here. It mentions larger face buttons, but this controller's buttons aren't any larger than those on a Wii Remote. But the PowerA controller definitely has larger buttons. Did Blaze Pro just steal their product description? Is this Pro Pack Mini a knockoff of another Pro Pack Mini? Are they allowed to do that, like, legally? Something tells me this ain't gonna be a quality product. Well, let's just get this over with. The first thing I noticed is that it doesn't even come with a wrist strap of any kind, which was advertised on the stolen product description, so we're just off to a fantastic start. Now, appearance aside, there's nothing really wrong with how this controller feels on the hands. Every button feels solid like you'd expect. You got the clicky start, select, and home buttons in the middle, and the D-pad is a bit stiff, but it doesn't feel like one cheap single piece. You can still rock it around, which is nice. Also, on the right side of the remote,
it has a nice curved form to it.
Other than that, it's got basically everything a normal Wii Remote has. The sensor on top, LED lights, accessory port, the same battery compartment and sync button, and it even has the speakers. Time will tell if any of these function as they should. As for the nunchuck, it feels about the same, but the change to cheap plastic on the analog stick really shows. It's like an ASMR video over here. Well, let's pop in those 2 AA batteries. Fortunately, it didn't explode, but jeez, those LED lights are blinding. Could have taken some of that brightness and gave your controller glowing buttons so your product is as advertised. Let's just get on with it and see how this thing stacks up against the regular Wii Remote when you're actually using it. For starters, it connects to my Wii U just fine, and most of the buttons appear to work as they should. The IR pointer also works as well, though I don't know if it's just me or if it's just a tad bit more sensitive than the regular Wii Remote. This is also the part where I can confirm that the speakers do function as well as the rumble feature. They did indeed cram all the features a regular Wii Remote Plus would have in there. The quality of said features have yet to be fully tested, but I applaud the effort. To begin with, why not test its motion sensing capabilities by beginning with a classic round of Wii Sports tennis? Well, the accelerometer works fine. I can swing my racket around no problem. Moving on to one of my favorite motion control games, WarioWare Smooth Moves, it functions fine as well, with the exception of lack of a wrist strap. Overall, looks like the Pro Pack Mini has basic motion control down pat. But what about that added Motion Plus feature? Thankfully, at least Blaze Pro was true to their word on this aspect. The Motion Plus feature does get detected by games like Wii Sports Resort. And yeah, it works as it should. I'm actually impressed by this one. They got the motion controls on this controller down pretty well. But waggling is one thing, mashing is another. So let's see how those buttons fare in a more traditional platformer like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, using the horizontal position. And right off the bat in the first level, I could tell something was wrong. The 2 button is not really responsive. It's doing the thing where you have to like press it down and exert even more force to actually register the button press, which is not ideal when you have to jump at precise moments like in a Mario game. I have no idea if this is just a manufacturing flaw specific to my unit, but this is definitely not a good look. The D-pad functions well, which is high praise for an unlicensed controller, but the completely flat button shape just rubs me the wrong way. Considering the aesthetics of the controller, you could have made the button actually curve more than just at the edges. So yeah, it's definitely no match for the original, but pretty much every button is of passable quality, except for the 2 button, which is basically a death sentence in 2D platformers. At the very least, you can still attach your own classic controllers and use it on things like Virtual Console. Lastly, let's check out that mini nunchuck by firing up Super Mario Galaxy. Now, the obnoxious noises from the cheap plastic analog stick aside, it appears to work fine as well at first glance. You see, I found this weird quirk in how this analog stick registers smaller movements. If I gently move the stick up, it actually goes up quite a bit before Mario actually starts tiptoeing. But if I just slightly nudge it downwards, boom, Mario just takes off. This inconsistent control just completely destroys any of my attempts to carefully navigate around tight platforms, which is like half the point of an analog stick. This nunchuck is sadly not a winner. Overall, the Pro Pack Mini, or should I say the knockoff of the real Pro Pack Mini, had a lot of potential to be a good cheap Wii Remote alternative. It has all of the features of a standard Wii Remote Plus at less than half the cost, even including a nunchuck. Heck, the smaller size didn't really feel cramped at all, and I definitely appreciate it. But sadly, the cheap price came at the cost of reliability. It isn't literally unplayable, but the fact that not every button or even the analog stick work properly just doesn't make it an ideal replacement. In a way, this really encapsulates the feeling of the cheap third-party little brother controller. And even if you're on a budget with how much the Wii sold during its lifetime, used Wii remotes are plenty and still super cheap. Sometimes even cheaper than the amount I paid for this Pro Pack Mini. So in the end, this is just a novel little case study on what you get if you try to cut back the production costs of a Wii Remote and nunchuck. You still get all the features, but it doesn't have that good old Nintendo seal of quality, and it shows. I admire the effort that was put in to shrink it, but there are definitely a lot better solutions out there if you're looking for a cheap Wii Remote. Though I will say, it's kinda funny seeing the mini nunchuck still have that little connector hook on the plug that you're supposed to slide the non-existent wrist strap through. Did I ever do that? I don't think anyone ever actually bothered to do that. Anyway, don't lie to your customers, kids.